All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the live stream for this Friday morning New York session. Remember, we've already had NFP announcements this morning, so we'll take a look at the high impact and medium impact calendar in just a moment. We'll give everyone a couple more minutes to arrive. In the meantime, D. Anderson, Brad, Janus, good morning, welcome. Hello, Serge, good morning. All right, TJ, let's get it. All right, Young, good morning. Be right back. Let me just go and grab a cup of coffee quickly. All right, okay, Brad. You're right about that. It's going to be a good day today. Sniper, good morning. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and get rolling. I guess I'll start off this morning by just asking a question. What happened yesterday at 4 o'clock? Because I'm thinking about when we ended the live streams, the price was right here, right at 440. 17,440 was the closing price at 4 o'clock. I shut down the live stream. I went off to do something else. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, I think it was like 15 or 20 minutes later, I realized price was all the way up here. And by the end, just before 5 o'clock, price had moved 200 points. And I know yesterday we had been waiting all day for some sort of bullish momentum or some move. And there were some of the subscribers talking about there were earnings calls at 5 o'clock. And so they were going to be talking about, I believe it was Amazon and Apple and a few others. But if that call was at 5 o'clock, how do we get a 200-point boost at 4 o'clock? Not to mention it's at 4 o'clock, so most trading was already over. So I felt like that was pretty unfortunate, knowing that we had been watching price action and we knew what price wanted to do, and it just held out and wouldn't move in a direction that we needed it to, wouldn't deliver how we wanted it to, and then at 4 o'clock, all of a sudden, the rocket boosters came on and it just took off to the atmosphere and wasn't seen anymore. So That was unfortunate for us. Good for the market, but definitely unfortunate for us day traders. You went 7 for 7. Awesome, Brad. That's amazing. Yeah. I know, Brad. But take that confidence, whatever it is that you did, and you were able to see those trades through and how you managed them properly. Just see if you can't take that momentum and bring it over to your actual evaluation account. You were still in when it hit the last TP. Yeah. Yeah. The only thing is, if you were in your evaluation account, you would have had to been closed by 410. So you'd have been closed around here, which means you would have probably maxed out at about, see, it closed at 520. So somewhere around 520 to 530 would have been the maximum you would have achieved in the evaluation account. But that still was another 100 points from where we finished at 4 o'clock. That was amazing. Oops. All right, let's get back into it and let's jump to the daily. Take a look at our friend DXY. There we go. So it looks like maybe today. Just look at that candle. It looks like a full day candle, and we still got a little over 9.5 hours remaining in today's trading, and the dollar's already did this much. So back to those equal highs I had marked up before, and I thought dollar would go for that this week. That would be the target. And even if it doesn't achieve it this week, I still felt like we could start making headway in that direction. And all week long, it did exactly what it did the 2 weeks before. And now we see today, the last day of the week, it's pushing like it wants to break through this level and eventually reach that pool of liquidity. Um, so with 9.5 hours left, there's still plenty of time to go the other direction. So we still want to make sure the dollar is going to continue pushing that hard. But it's good to see by the end of the week, it's doing similar to what I thought it might do. Right now, it just touched this pool of liquidity. So we had essentially equal highs on the 4 hour, touched almost 4 times. And now we had that area broken through. Let's get down to the hour. Okay, so essentially this entire candle was made this hour, this last hour doing NFP. They announced the employment numbers, and I'll show those now. And you can see how the actuals came out better than forecast in all three categories: average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, as well as the unemployment rate. All three of those beat expectation by quite a bit, and we can see that reflected in the dollar. Dollar's moving stronger because of it. We do have another news event at 10, so we want to make sure that's also favorable for the dollar, and that it continues pushing towards 104.263. And if it does, then we'll adjust our expectations accordingly for equities. But first, we need the 10 o'clock news to be announced. Again, yep, just like I mentioned the last, I'm down at the 15-minute, and it's the same as the hour. So all the activity has just happened recently. So we have these fair value gaps created, which we could see a retracement into maybe at the 9:30 or possibly when news is announced at 10. All right, let's do this quickly. Right, just like we saw a big bullish candle from the dollar, we're now seeing bearish momentum from ES, moving towards this new week opening gap. Here we are on the daily. So on the daily, we do have yesterday's candle broke the previous highs from earlier in the week. From Monday, Tuesday had relative equal highs. Yesterday pushed right through that. Now we see a retracement coming back down. We should expect it to at least come about halfway down on this candle. And then from there, we need to look and see if it's wanting to continue downwards or if we see a momentum shift back to the upside. All right, just like I said, we may see a push down into half of yesterday's daily candle. We can see fair value gaps here on the hourly as possible turnaround points. We're very near to one right now. And if it pushes through that one, we have another one sitting on just above the new week opening gap. So that could also be an area where it finds support. It's also an order block here. So all of those combined could be where price finds support. And then we start seeing a shift to the upside. Let's quickly get into NQ before the opening bell. All right, not quite like ES. We didn't break weekly highs like ES did, nor did we take out the all-time high. So we're still optimistic that the NQ will push for these highs this week, but we still need to monitor price and make sure that that's going to happen. And a lot of that has to do with what comes out at 10 o'clock as far as how that impacts the dollar. But we see the retracement, the same thing we saw on ES. We have the new week opening gap where it's trading down to. This is where price opening this week. So we expect for price to revisit that and potentially find support. If we shift down to the hourly, so we're in a big, massive fair value gap right now. So if we don't see a push up to the upside now, we wait and see how it responds when it gets into this new day opening gap. Let's see, the new day opening gap we have currently for today is above us. It's at this consolidation zone from Asia and London. So we had consolidation during Asia and London. So if we do see a push to the upside, we have to be aware that this consolidation zone sent price south. So we might find some resistance when we get there. But in the meantime, we still have this old new day opening gap from the 30th sitting just below us. And also we're inside of a big fair value gap, as I mentioned, where we could find support and then the push upwards. Let's see. Yep, same thing here. Once we get into the new day opening gap, you find also order block that could support price. And after 10 o'clock, once we get the release, we'll take a look at dollar, see how it's responding, and then we'll move that over to Nasdaq. So for now, let's just get back down to the quarterly chart, drop it on the 15-minute, and let's get ready for the opening bell. We have 2 minutes. Let me go ahead and put the session highs and lows back up. In fact, let me get rid of these just so it's easier to see. All right, so we see Asia and London low are pretty equal. Last hour 8:30 when news was announced, Asia and London low were both taken out. We also had a trade down to previous day high, so it's a retest of 2 days ago high that was broken yesterday at 4 o'clock. We have a retracement back down to test that level. London high was made at 4 o'clock, has already been traded into. Asia high was made yesterday at 8:30, has already been traded into as well. So session highs and lows for London and Asia have both been taken. Yesterday's high is open, so that's at 646. But what we're waiting for is at 10 o'clock, New York's high and low will be announced, and then we'll see how price reacts to those two levels. But as of now, it looks like the high of New York will be at 643-ish. All right, the opening bell is here. Yeah, I just want to take a peek at what the regular trading hours are. So if you look at the regular trading hours, the gap is from 545 down to we just opened at 500. So it's about 50-point gap there. And again, that's from where we closed at 415 to where we opened at 930. All right, Antonio, good morning. Vicky Digit, good morning. Bob, welcome back. Good morning. Tom, Tommy Ruff, good morning. Fuego, welcome back. Let's see who asked that question. Brad, so I was taught that by ICT about looking for a divergence between the dollar and the equities market. He said they move in opposite directions. It's just the way it works. And I'm not 100% sure why, but if I had to guess, it'd just be based on the way institutions trade or way institutions invest their money. I think when they believe equities are going to grow, then that's where they like to invest their money. And that's usually when the dollar is struggling or there's something going on with the bond market. But when rates are high and the dollar is really strong, they like to put their money into that instrument. That's just speculation. But it was just something I was taught by ICT to look for that. And then when you start looking at the way they move and you look at them compared to each other, that's exactly how they move. When one is very bullish, the other is bearish. All right, Fauci, good morning. All right, so we traded back down to 466. I think I had a level 462 maybe. I'm not sure where that came from, so I'll get rid of it. But we do see price rejecting off of this previous day high, which would be a bullish order block on a higher time frame. All right, let's just see how the opening bell has been to each of the different indices. So let's take a peek at how the others are responding. Yeah, Brad, you asked why I look for a divergence here. And if you see like price, you see them as opposite. You could flip one of these over and it would be the other's price action. And when you look at price, like this is when it's its most fluid. When they're in sync, when these three are working together, and then the dollar is moving in the opposite direction, price moves from one level to the next, and it moves there fairly quickly without a lot of not necessarily retracing, but without a lot of consolidation. And it doesn't take much time. You get consecutive candles moving the same direction, not a lot of back and forth. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's what we. If you ever hear us refer to something as a low resistance liquidity run, that is when the three indices are synced up and they're moving opposite of the dollar. You find your next pool of liquidity, and price generally moves in that direction fairly quickly. If one of these indices is not doing the same thing as the other two, or if the dollar's moving the same direction as the indices or one of the indices, that's when you get consolidation. That's when you get a lot of retracement, a lot of sweeps of liquidity, a lot of fake outs. And so that's why sometimes when you see me being patient and we're saying, when are you going to trade? It's because I'm waiting for those conditions to be present. And for my trading strategy, those conditions are generally required. All right. So far, we did have them in sync, but now we see Nasdaq is recovering much quicker than what we saw in S&P and the Dow. So we'll see if these other two indices want to catch up, and especially the Dow is still retracing. And so we'll wait for the Dow to turn around and start racing for higher prices. Also, we'll look at the dollar and see where it wants to land. If the dollar keeps pushing higher, then it may be that NQ needs to get exhausted and turn around. But we're still fairly new into the opening range. We're only 7 minutes in. We have another 23 before the opening range is complete. And at that moment, we'll also get another high impact news event. So, so a lot going on this morning. Just sit back and watch, and get in position for where you might want to enter or what you might want to look for. But I would recommend not taking a position just yet. There she is. Good morning, Vivian. '68. Crypto Queen, good morning. I thought maybe you were taking a nap. I thought you were up for London session, and I saw that London really didn't deliver anything today, so I figured you got frustrated and was taking a nap. Hmm. All right. So far, we've had equilibrium trades or traded back to equilibrium so far. It's a little bit higher than that. It's 62%. Looks like NQ still wants to push. Mhm. Morning, cool, calm. Good morning. How's it going? Dang, TJ. Yeah, that previous day high. When I saw the market run up after 4 o'clock yesterday, and it's, I don't know, it's probably 440 or something when I was looking at it. Then I came back after 5 and I saw where it stopped. And so for whatever reason, I looked at the previous day high and I said, something tells me it's going to trade back down here. And when it does, um, that might be a pivot point for 'em. So I just put an alert on it just to see when it would touch. And when I was sitting here getting ready for this morning session, it was probably 15 minutes before we started. I got an alert saying that it had crossed over. So, but it's good to see that that's where it turned around at. Yep. I wish I had taken this long in my live account and not my demo account. Oh man. Just traded back up to the 8:30 open is what happened. Oh, 8:30 midnight are right on top of each other. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I took it in my demo. I ended it at the 8:30 open because it was like a 1050 profit or something. Because that I try to trade the demo the same as I would trade my live, and I absolutely would have closed my trade on my live with only one contract. Yeah, I would have for sure closed it. So, all right, Antonio, good job. All right, we close above this level, and for the 8:30 at midnight to sit on top of each other, I wonder if that's going to be a really strong level today. So let's, as we move throughout today, let's make sure that we're aware of this level. And it's also the level where consolidation was during a London session or at the end of London. Well, to be honest with you, the entire Asia and London session. And this is the new day opening gap. It's right at the 50% mark where we have the midnight and 8:30 open. So it's a lot of confluence right here. So let's just see what this level means to us today for trading. DB, good morning. Mm-mm-mm. $9.30 candle. Okay, so it's a 5-minute breaker. 1 minute closure outside, 1 minute trade back inside. Okay. We have another 5-minute breaker here. Brad, let's see. We need to break that high. Yeah, so I would have been looking for it to break this midnight open high, close above it, and then kind of do a retrace back down and then up. It's more or less what I would have been hoping for. Now it looks like we're trading back down into the zone, and there's a breaker that was created here. So we'll see what the reaction. Hopefully, it can stay above the 50% of the breaker, and we get a bullish reaction out of it, and back above the midnight open. But right now, there are no open session highs and lows. Asia high and low has been taken. London high and low have been taken. In another 8 minutes, 7 minutes, we'll get the New York values will pop up. So we'll have a New York high and low. We'll also have a high impact folder released, which will for sure move price around a bit. Back to the breaker. So we did trade into it and to almost the lower extreme of the fair value gap. Not quite. This candle is getting ready to close. So let's wait for the next one. Five minutes to news event. If you're in a position, just take that into account. A relative equal highs here. All likelihood, this is where we're coming back to at some point in the near term. All right. So I expected a return to this level. I didn't expect it in the next candle. All right, but we got a good push out of this breaker here. Really nice push. Man, quick 40 points if anyone took it. Wouldn't be surprised if no one took it because we do have news coming up in just a couple minutes. All right, back to the midnight 8:30 open level. Okay, we got a small sweep of liquidity here, so just gathering a little bit on this retracement back down. Let's see if that's enough for it to now go and take out these highs. Crypto, you're long off that breaker. Okay. I was thinking nobody took it because news is in a couple minutes, and here you are telling me you took it. I mean, it was an excellent entry, though. Don't get me wrong. It was a perfect entry. You're right. They don't always deliver 100 points, but they always give you more than 20. That's for sure. All right, 30 seconds and news is coming our way. Short from the previous day high. All right, Splash. Good morning. All right, another 10 seconds. We go over. Just get ready for revised University of Michigan sentiment, consumer sentiment, which again is composite index based on surveyed consumers. Okay. All right. So they revised it to basically nothing. So should be no impact, is my guess. Nothing really happened from this revision. So I would expect business as usual. All right, now we have our New York high and low, however, so let's go ahead and plot those. Remember, those are the only two session highs and lows that have not been traded to. So the New York high is at 643 and a half, 643 and a half, so very near to the previous day high. And the New York low is going to be down here. If we're going to be heavily bullish, don't be surprised if the New York low holds open and we never trade to it. We maybe trade close, but never trade to it. So let's see where price wants to go. It's been bullish for the last hour, a half hour. It's also been bullish the last 10 minutes prior to news. So let's see if we continue. We sweep these highs and then we look for the New York high next. Let me go back up to the 5-minute now. Mhm. Uh, Vivian, to answer your question, I'll let Crypto Queen answer as well. It could, sometimes it is a breaker structure, but generally what it is, it's a failed order block. So when price was moving down, this movement up was to send price even lower. And so when you get a return to it, you expect for price to continue pushing lower. But what happens is price pushes through and it goes higher. And so it's just a failed order block. Yeah, previous day high is above New York. Previous day high crypto is at 647. This previous day high I have down here was 2 days ago. So this was yesterday's previous day high we were looking for, and we only traded to that after 4 o'clock when it blasted through everything and gave us 200 more points after 4. So that's what this was. And so I left it on a chart to see if it would trade back to it, because my indicator will only put previous day's high as yesterday. So the day before it gets erased. So I left this here. But you're absolutely right. Let me oops. All right, let me do that. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to confuse you. All right, GC, good morning. How goes it? That it is another day of trading, another opportunity to make some money. All right, right now we're experiencing a little stall in price for good reason. Mainly because the dollar's been running high ever since the opening bell. Actually before the opening bell, but the dollar's been running for higher prices for quite some time now, since the news at 8:30, and so has Nasdaq. Surprisingly, I mean, you would, like I mentioned so many times before, you would expect it to move in the opposite direction, but that hasn't happened. So Nasdaq is now at a position where it's reached its limit and probably just needs to cool off for a bit. And I think what it's waiting for is the dollar maybe to reach its goal. So let me go ahead and move my face out of the way. You see the dollar is still running, still pushing towards the levels that I had marked up here at 103.955. If I'm not mistaken, I think those are equal highs. Let me just make sure. Okay, nope, that's not it. But we do have a point of liquidity just above, and I think the dollar is running towards, and we'll see how it responds once it gets there. But you can see that even last hour, we did have some bullish momentum from S&P, but not nearly as much as what we got from Nasdaq. Nasdaq did pretty much all the way back up to the levels it was at during Asia and London session, nearly topping those highs. And so now we see a little pullback back into the range. So we'll give it time to settle, and we'll see how I was responding in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Oh, hey, Dustin. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Didn't see you there. Mm. Oh, okay. Bearish break at 4:30. 4:30. Okay. Let me check that out then. All right, TJ, take care. No problem, Dustin. No problem. No problem. Hey, what's this? And A. Indicators I'm using is new week opening gap right here. So NWOG, NDOG. I also have ICT midnight and 8:30 open. So these are all things that you can mark up on your own, but it just saves me time and I don't have to worry about forgetting. I also have FVG, Nephew Sam, so it marks all of my fair value gaps for me. Okay. And of the free ones, that's all the ones that I use. I have another one I use for marking session highs and lows, but that one's not free, so you won't be able to find it on TradingView. Oh, 4:30 p.m. Okay, that's why I was lost. Like 4:30. What do you mean? Oh, this guy. Okay, got it. Actually, no. Mm-mm. Pressure trade 840. Look at that. Right to the 50% mark and down to 2 days ago, previous day high that I thought it would bounce from. Way to go. Good job. 70 or 80 points. That's enough for the day. Depending on how far you rode that down. Jeez. That was amazing. Right now, it looks like it's pushing back up to that midnight 8:30 open level. I really want it to close above just so we can get rid of this big pink area. It's really messing up my psyche looking at the chart. Equal highs on the daily. Yeah, for sure. 645, yes. And that's where you see right here, this previous day high. Here at 647 or the New York high at 643. Yeah, if that's the equal highs you're talking about, then absolutely. Today and yesterday's, there's no doubt I think we can take those. If you're asking, are we going to take 744? It depends. We first need to show that we're willing to be built bullish and take out these levels. But if we get these levels, then yeah, I do think we could get 744. Right. But I'll be watching dollar to see how it responds when it gets to its levels that I've marked up already. Right. So dollar continues to break out of this little funk that it was in for the last basically most of the year since about mid-January. Finally broke through. Next, our target is 104,267. If it's able to continue pushing through there and doesn't find that that's restrictive, then I'll put the next level here. So I'm looking at those two levels for the dollar. And of course, its reaction here, or if it pushes through and its reaction here will ultimately be how we target the rest of the equity market. Okay, let's go back to where we were. Lots of rejection here, but we continue to get higher lows. And here's my favorite pattern, everyone. Here we go again. This is not working. There we go. Right while this does its thing, I'm going to go and get my last cup of coffee this morning. Yep. Okay. Good job, Dustin. Yeah, I was gonna pull that dollar chart back up so you can see it. Yep, you're right about that. We're consolidating, so you're right. Expansion is coming. That's why I put the little funnel, these lines up, just to show that price is pinching in and it's creating a smaller range, just waiting for a breakout. All right. All right, Clinks. Welcome. Good morning. All right. Yep. So, Brad, for instance, let's say you were going to take this fair value gap and you say this is your silver bullet entry. Your your exit could be right here at this level of liquidity. You see, you have easy pull right here. So you'd be entering at 575 and be looking at an exit at almost 625. So you're talking about 50 points that quickly, as opposed to looking for extreme highs or any of those things. I think the silver bullet ICT said you should have, I think, a range of 25 points or something, and you should aim to get at least 10 to 15 of that. Granted, this is on the 5 minutes, so if you run a lower time frame, it might be a little smaller. So maybe the fair value gap was a little higher up in this range, but still, a 50-point range is plenty for a silver bullet, and that's without reaching for the daily or session high. Mm. No, not that I'm aware of. I know it's some low, because he always say low hanging fruit, some quick pool of liquidity, but not necessarily reaching for session highs or extremes. Now you can definitely go for a continuation and carry it that far, but I'm not sure that's your always your target for the silver bullet. I could be wrong, Brad. Maybe I'm mixing up the silver bullet in the 2022 model. Hmm. That's okay, Brad. You're getting there, and most importantly, you're asking the right questions. Let's see. There you go, Brad. There your dollar levels. You can write them down. Yeah. I did post the some of his Twitter Spaces starting probably early July. I think is when I started posting them. There's some that he posted before that I don't have. Yeah, it probably would be interesting to go through those and maybe consolidate them down to the 10 to 15 minute speech that everyone needs to hear about the strategy of trading, of day trading. All right, let's see where our retracement levels are. Oh, thank God. Finally, the big bearish fair value gap disappeared. All right, so if we measure out the last move that we're now retracing, okay, so 50% just achieved below this fair value gap. Any further push, we'll get down to 540, 540-ish for a 62% retracement. Mhm. Oh, is he? He's in Phoenix too. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. So you always start where price came from, and then you go to where price finished. And so yes, this would be a bullish direction. So you're looking for the retracement, and you want below 50%. This becomes your discount, and above is your premium. Like the expansion's coming. Live Traders channel. Okay. And a McLaren. All right. So you're long to previous day high. All right. Yeah, I should have taken the breaker. Yep. Here is so far the daily high at 643 and the previous day high at 646. Okay, New York high has now been swept. So the only daily level that is still available is the New York low. And again, if we're bullish, especially heavily bullish, we don't expect the New York low to be traded into, so it'll likely stay open. Previous day high is up next. It's only a couple ticks away. Yep, previous day high is taken. We have definitely made sure all time frames are bullish now. We were already bullish on the very high time frames. Let's see if we can get a retracement back down. No, we can't do that. Protect that strike rate. There you go. Session high at 684. Oh, you're saying a previous session high that wasn't taken. Okay, got it. Hmm. Hmm. Not sure. $72, $735, $752, $785, and the all-time high, $791. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, if we just bounce over to see where everyone else is at right now. So we've been watching NQ, so we know these highs have been swept, been taken out. We now have S&P trying to do the exact same thing. So it's pretty close. It needs to get up to 964. It's going to take a little bit more time, but it's almost there. It's about 6 points away, which is equivalent to like 15 on Nasdaq. So not very much. Now the Dow has a little further to go, and it also has to fight through this fair value gap, which the other two have already done. But we do see a big pullback from the dollar after it reached this level. Now, this wasn't the level in my daily that we had looked at. That was 104.26, I believe. Somewhere in this range was that daily level. And as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't saying that we needed to get to that level today. I did think that we would get to that level this week, but we hadn't made it there yet. So, yeah, so completing that all in one day is may not be feasible. So we'll keep monitoring. We'll keep seeing what the dollar wants to do, if it's going to really reject and we get down into this level. Because if it hovers around here, we could see it just consolidate for a little bit and then continue its expansion. But in order to figure that out, we'll have to give it some more time. Here we go. We see Nasdaq still at sort of the highs it was at. S&P at the same. So it's getting ready to get those levels I just mentioned. All right, Phoenix, good job. Let's see if we get that retracement into the level I have marked up there as taking an entry. We'll give it some time. Okay, this is midnight from yesterday, so we can get rid of that. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Slide this down to where midnight is currently showing. And then let me get rid of that, since midnight and 8:30 sitting on top of each other. There we go. Okay, we have about 10 minutes, and then we'll be in for our final hour of this morning session. So it's the final 10 minutes. Let's see what this macro delivers. Let me move down to a shorter time period. Mhm. Yeah, that's actually a good idea, Brad. That's right in the area you want to be. You're getting right to the discount level of this most recent price leg. You also have new week opening gap, and it's right near the 50% of that. It's right at the midnight open, so it's just a lot of areas confluence there. So not a bad idea. Hmm. All right, so S&P did not take out those highs. It didn't sweep the highs, and it's starting to retrace now. We're actually getting a retracement from all levels, from all three indices, as well as the dollar right now. I think the 930 low is protected only if we're really bullish today. If not, then we could see a sweep back down. But really, yeah, it depends on how the dollar reacts. If the dollar continues to push bullish, then probably not. But since it did reach a level, a most recent, I guess, an equal high on the 1 hour. See, I'm pulling the level it just reached is from December 13th. So it was a little while ago. And so I'm expecting a retracement from the dollar, which could send the equities even higher. Um, so in that case, yes, I'm thinking it's protected, but it really depends on how the dollar reacts for the rest of the day. Mm. All right, let's see if those highs are now taken out. They are, then that ends my limit order. But it's fine. I knew it was low probability that price would retrace back down. Nope, this is my live. This is not demo. But I'm not in a trade. You see, there's no limit order being activated. Now, when I trade my demo, I'm on another screen that you guys can't see. The screen that you can see is my Topstep account. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I'm in now. I'm hoping that this midnight open becomes a floor for price, provides some type of support and protection, and that price is able to be pushed back upwards. So we have all three indices selling off now. We're into the new hour, so it's 11 o'clock now. Let's see if this retracement is short-lived. to all right, so we have gotten a test in the midnight open, so it has touched. Now we just want to see how it reacts and responds to it. So far, it has not been quick and energetic at all. So we'll continue to wait and see how this closes out. All right, that closes that candle. Okay, so I'm not gonna let this roll back on me. I've not had a good week so far, so we'll shut that down and make it a break-even trade for now, and let's see what happens. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. All right, Brad, were you able to get in on that one? Let's see if price wants to remain bullish or if it's going to do a complete retracement. All right, it's now touched down on this fair value gap, which is pretty big, it seems. Yeah, 50 points. Nah, no one wants to enter that trade. All right, it's going to be 100.1 to 2. It's going to take a lot. Okay. Yep, there's a huge fair value gap. So if price pushes bullish, this might be a situation where, since it did touch down and we eclipse these highs, you may want to expand your limit to as if you took this trade, even though you didn't. So you don't have to worry about that level of stop loss that you would need and the risk associated with that trade. Oh, okay, Brad. All right, got you. I thought you were going to get in. You said you were looking for 17,610 or something like that. All right, let's see how this candle closes and where the next one opens. Oh, the 15. Yeah, it's a big tail there. All right, Tommy. All right. Let's see how this finishes for us. 7 or 8 seconds ahead. Okay. Yeah, Kendrick, there's a little delay from YouTube, from me to you, so it's probably going to be around 10 to 15 seconds. Yeah, I'm with you, crypto. Let's yeah, I'm gonna let this run and see what I can get. If it comes back on me, then it does. If it doesn't, let's see how far it can go. But we'll see. Now 9:15, 45 minutes left in the session. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button. It really helps me out quite a bit and keeps encouraging me to do this. So go ahead and hit the like button if you haven't already. And newcomers, if this is your first day, you got recommended, or you've been here a couple days and you're still on the fence there, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you never miss out on any invitations for the live stream. Okay. No, I thought it was doing something. But yeah, go ahead and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and like the video. Thank you so much for your support. All right, looks like we are having our highs start to exhibit a trend. So we want to see when does price break through that. Or a bigger question is, does price break through that? Okay, we have a bullish dollar right now, but we also have indices pushing higher as well. We're still early on in the hourly candle, so this could be sort of the accumulation phase. Possibly could be the manipulation as well. Yeah. Yeah, Crypto Queen is up there as far as being successful. She's crushing the game. Mess around and have the brokers start banning her from taking all their money. All right, let's see if this next candle can break through. It's starting right there. Boom. Let's push through this. All right, it's not ready to do it just yet, so we'll give it some more time. Right on, Tommy. Glad that this experience is good for you. Sure, it's the same for some others as well. But yeah, as long as we're all learning, I think we'll all continue to return, and it's just going to be a positive experience for us all. So, glad to hear, glad to see. I know there's been plenty of announcements since I started this channel of people getting funded, and that just makes me extremely happy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're probably not going to like the fact that you have to have your trades finished at 10 after 4. Those are definitely restrictions. I don't think you're going to have an issue with the 5 days of profitability before making a withdrawal. That's not going to be an issue for you. So yeah, you may not find too many restrictions there. Well, Kendrick, I'm glad you stumbled upon my channel. I'm glad YouTube was able to recommend it to someone who was really looking for this, and so I'm glad you're here. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you very much. All right, so that trend line definitely held firm. It's so far been sending price down south. Let's see how far it goes. Laughter, where you been all morning? Yep, I still feel good about Topstep. They were one of the first, if not the first, to arrive. And from what I understand, they've been on the up and up about their financials and taking care of things. So yes, I still believe in prop firms. I don't believe in every prop firm, but I do believe in the ones that I promote. Ash K, good morning. Good morning. I am doing well. Okay, no problem. Hey, family time is good time. So don't apologize and take as much time as you need. I was just, you get used to a certain group and every day and just notice you weren't here. 821. Okay. An all-time high. Is that what you're looking for, Antonio? Mm. Yeah, crypto. That was sort of the same strategy. I think that Cammy was looking at. He was looking at the same thing. He wanted to extract profits from all the prop firms and then put that into personal capital, and so have two separate trading strategies or two separate pools of trading capital to use. One personal and one, yes, with the prop firms. Hmm. Oh, hey, Ray. Good morning. Oh, Antonio, no, I was looking at your last comment. It said ADH, so I was assuming you were saying ATH, like all time high, but what is ADH? You got your little girl trading. That's crazy. Hmm. 15 seconds. Let's see where this candle closes. This is on the 1 minute. I dropped all the way down. Keeps coming back up to touch, and it's finding it hard to push through. Let's see what the next candle does. All right, TJ. Sweet. All right, we got equal highs now. The previous two equal highs, same over here. Okay, no longer do we have equal highs. Was this on the 3 minute? Yeah, it was on the 3 minute. Yep. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Normally on Fridays we do not have our highest count of viewers, but I'm looking right now. We have our highest count of viewers for the week here on Friday. Thank you all for supporting me and for being here and supporting one another as well. That makes the experience overall more enjoyable for everyone. Wait a minute, 791? That's what we're aiming for, crypto? Let's go. Let's get it. Hmm. Okay, I see. All right, Tommy. Take care. We'll see you in a bit. Hmm. Okay. The book tune. Yes. I don't know who's my internet. I think it's fine. As far as I know, YouTube is telling me I have excellent connection. But you will get a 15-second delay or so from the feed, so it's not going to be live. It's sort of live, but yeah, you're going to be about 15 seconds behind where I am. I hear you, Queen. I'm with you. Wish I had some more coffee. All right, let's go. Let's see where we are. What's 825? Yeah, what is 825, Antonio? What's that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it seems like, Vivian. Right, so we had an entry here on the 1 minute. Okay. Go to the 2 minute. Let's see. I'll be right back. Give me just 2 minutes. I need to take a break. Yes, if you're in a long and you want to sell and you want to take a partial, yes, you sell one contract. And that's for Fauci. Fauci asked that question. Got about another 15 minutes or so till we conclude this session and we head into lunch. So Sniper, the way I look at it is it depends on really how much your stop loss is per contract. Um, I generally have my stop loss anywhere from $300 to $500 in value. That's generally where I like to keep it. But what that does is that means for me, that's about one contract per 50,000. So if you're doing 100,000, I would go a maximum of two contracts. No, TJ, I'm gonna have to cut you off for lunch. If I'm still in a trade, we'll recap it when we come back. Yeah, if I stay during lunch, then it's gonna impact the afternoon session. You gotta remember, man, I'm sitting here for 6 hours a day, so I need that hour break in the middle. Did you say ES all time high? Oh, look at the Dow. Even the Dow has rebounded all the way to sweep those highs from a few hours ago. So it's hitting its daily high now. And you're right, ES and Nasdaq are looking very similar right now. Very similar. But so is the dollar. That's crazy. Everything is running. Everything's bullish right now. Doing enough. Let's go to the 5 minutes, see what we got. But it didn't touch. It didn't tag us in. All right, so we're getting right back to where the all-time high was for NQ. Remember, the all-time high before we broke it last week was 17,700. 17,700. So we're retesting that level again. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see how far we can push. Let's go. Yeah, it's looking good, crypto. Thank you. Thank you. It's been a rough week. I'll say that. Don't say that. We do not want to see a retracement. We want to see a high made. Let's eclipse the last high. Already done it. Let's keep going. All right, so I partialed out and took one contract. And I did so because I am, well, I was, prior to that, I was down 1,800 for the week. So that one contract I partialed out just got me back break even for the week. And now this trade is stop loss and profit. So we'll see what happens. Absolutely, crypto. There you go. So what we're going to do is let's move. Let's see if we can get what this trade would have delivered. And let's go back and find the time frame. Was that on the 3-minute? Okay, so it looks like it was here. Nope. That's right. So it was here. Okay. There we go. We'll set that there and we'll put our limit just before. We definitely don't need this. Will this deliver a 1 to 2? And this is with a 50-point stop loss. If this goes to full, this will be another 50 points for another 1,000 on top. So that'll have me break even. And then this will deliver 1,000. So that'll be my profit for the week, which coming from where I was, that's pretty good into the week, I would say. 7 more minutes in the session, 7 more minutes. Any final questions or comments, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Let's make sure we get a chance to address anything that you want to bring up before we get off. For anyone brand new and wondering, we will return at 1300. We have an afternoon session, so make sure that you subscribe so you'll get reminded just in case you forget. Right. All right. This is pretty much the same exit as here. That's if it returns back down. So I'll get rid of that. It doesn't extend. I'm looking for something that would extend higher so I can move my my take profit a little higher, and also something that gives me what would be protection, so I could also move the stop loss. So that'll put more in the bank and also give me a higher potential. It's just something I've been working on the last couple days when I back test, just looking to see if this is a way that I can extend a trade, but also make sure it doesn't roll all the way back on me, take away any potential profits I had. Okay, so it has now engaged this a fair value gap. So I will set that up. If I had that fair value gap on as my trade, I would probably be looking for an exit here. So in that case, my stop goes there. And a 1 to 2 trade on that would be right where my TP is. $7.91 before lunch, so you can go $7.91. Holy cow. All right, let's get a closure above this fair value gap. All right, so that didn't happen. Not good. It's all good. Take it. It's okay. We'll take it. We will take it. So that ends my trade. That is my trade. I'm at least positive for the week now. least positive for the week. All right, 3.5 minutes. 3.5 minutes before we head off for lunch. Okay. All right, so this is where it ends right here. Okay, see, had you entered on this fair value gap thinking of a continuation, it would have stopped you out here. Granted, that was you were trying to enter along at the top of the range, so that's always risky just because you'll get a retracement probably through the first zone and until it gets down to the second zone. But as I said, this has been not the easiest week for me, so it's good to grab those profits in well. And also it's the end of the morning session. Let's not forget that if we do get a big push in the afternoon, especially early in the afternoon before 2 o'clock, let's look for the TGIF and see if we don't get a retracement that we like. But for now, that ends my long and it was a successful trade. I don't need all the points. I just need to make sure that I'm in position to continue moving forward. Yep. Shooter circle. I got you. I completely understand higher time frame, and it's not. But we're heading into lunch, and as I mentioned, I'm not going to sit here and monitor my trade, so I'm going to leave. So I did what I needed to do to manage my trade. But good luck to you in the trades that you're taking. I'm not trying to discount anything you're doing, but for now, this is good for me. I'll come back after lunch, and we'll see if another setup presents itself. Aaron, just go into the description. You should see it right there. All right, Angie, welcome to the channel. Good to have you. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe so you get all the future announcements and invitations, and that you're in on the next one. Yeah, crypto. I was in on 2 contracts, and once I was down to 1 contract, and it's like, okay, all right, it's time to let this one go, especially if it starts a retracement now, right at the end of the session where I'm going to not monitor it any longer. Right. Yep. Definitely. I want to welcome all the newcomers. I do recognize there has to be new people in here for us to have a concurrent viewer of over 100 for majority of the last hour, which is always good to see. Always good to see. So, yep. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will talk back with all of you in 60 minutes if you're available. And if not, have a great weekend. And Monday morning, 9:15, we'll do it all over again. But for those still trading today, I'll see you in an hour. Cheers, everyone. Thank you.